world's greatest and most valuable collection of books on astrology is in the Vatican. And it's known among all astrologers that the Pope and the cardinals and these people are master astrologers. Well, why don't
Hey, Shalom, brothers. Shalom. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto, coming back with another one. I have to start this video off by making a confession. Before I came into this truth, I was into astrology as well. I seen a lot of similarities between my personality and certain things they used to say about my sign. This is all Luciferianism. That is all occult science. Is there truth to the left-hand side? Yes, there is certain truth to the left-hand side, right? Because the left-hand side was inspired by the right-hand side. So is there truth to the left-hand side? Yes, it is. But is it the truth? No, it's not. Right? No, it's not. Right? Calling yourself a Leo, or calling yourself a Scorpio, or calling yourself a Cancer, or whatever other sign that they deviate to you at birth to say this is who you are. That's completely occult, and that's complete Luciferianism, because you're not given the glory unto the Most High, right? You're given the glory unto the Father, the Son, and the Mother Goddess, right? So who is that? That's going into Cush, Nimrod, and Semiramis, right? Sometimes it's going into Tammuz as well. Same thing, interchangeable. Tammuz is the son, Nimrod is the son. Nimrod is the father, and sometimes Cush is the representation of the father, right? Where did they get all of this knowledge? They got it all from their father, Ham, right? Ham, that great perverter, right? That brought that old way of thinking and old way practices to his son Cush, right? Who Cush later became known in the modern times as Hermes or Hermes, right? Which literally means son of Ham, right? Hermes literally means son of Ham. Who's the son of Ham? Cush, right? Who's the son of Cush? It's Nimrod. His name later became Bacchus, right? That's where you get the Bacchanalian rites from, right? The Bacchanalian orgies or his festivities, right? Bacchus simply means son of Cush, right? That's how they all go together. Now, when you are going into the astrology is simply a representation of the Mother Goddess, which is a representation by Virgo, aka the Virgin, right? That's where you people get that mindset of, and you try to mingle that with our Lord and Savior, trying to say that his mother Mary was a virgin, right? When it says virgin there in the scriptures, it's talking about young woman. That everlasting virgin is going into Semiramis. That isn't an occult teaching. That is an occult teaching. That's the worship of the Mother Goddess. That is the literally worship of the Mother Goddess. Okay? Then you have the what is it? The Taurus, right? The different ram-headed gods or the goat gods. The different goat gods is going into either the Father or it's going into the Son. Right? Then you have different signs like Aquarius, right? Going into the Sun, and so on and so forth. Now, this is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2, and it reads, "Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and best believe astrology is the way of the heathen," which goes back to ancient Babylon, right? Going all the way back, I think, to the 2nd century, man. Right? The Babylonians and their priests, this is what they would practice. And that's what they practice even up to today. Even up to today, they practice it, right? When the president in January 2025, when him or her goes and gets inaugurated, that's letting you know that they are a witch. They are a witch. They are practicing something known as haruaspects, where they cut open the stomach of a bird and they inspect the different organs, mostly the liver, right, to come to a conclusion of what the future is going to be. The same thing happens with the with Groundhog's Day. Groundhog's Day, when you see all those men in their top hats wearing all black, that's a ritual. Talking about, oh, if the groundhog sees his shadow, that's all witchcraft, man. That's witchcraft. All those men you see them holding up the what is that? The beaver? I think he's a beaver. What is he? I can't remember. What is that thing, man? Groundhog, I'm sorry. The damn groundhog. Yeah, man. You know, sometimes the brain doesn't work as quick, you know. Brothers are getting older now. But yeah, that groundhog, when you see those men in the all black, right, wearing, holding up the groundhog, those are all witches. Now, here's a picture of the men in black holding up, uh, holding up the groundhog. Let's get a little background on them just quickly. It says Groundhog Day events have been a Punxsutawney tradition since the late 1800s, right? Going into the 1880s, I think, and are shepherded by the Punxsutawney Groundhogs Club, aptly named the Inner Circle, right? Which is why I say that this is an occult, right? It's a brotherhood, right? So they're known as the Groundhogs Clubs, aptly named Inner Circle, comprising 15 members who dress in black overcoats and top hats for the special occasion. The newest president of the Inner Circle, Thomas Dunkel, is continuing an honored tradition started by his father, right? Now, what is Groundhog's Day? Right? Groundhog's Day is a Wiccan holiday or a Wiccan celebration that actually goes back to our people. When I say our people, I mean Israelites, right? When we were practicing paganism, we're still practicing paganism, right? Which is why people like P. Diddy or Puff Daddy, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, all these people are being exposed because really and truly these men are Wiccans, right? They're top witches or druids. Okay, so it goes, if you know anything about the witches' wheel of the year, that is their high holy days. And Imbolc is one of them. And it says Imbolc is a pagan holiday celebrated from February 1st to sundown February 2nd, right? Based on a Celtic tradition, Imbolc was meant to mark the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox in Neolithic Ireland and Scotland. The holiday is celebrated by Wiccans and other practitioners of neo-pagan or pagan-influenced religion, which is why I said those men from the Inner Circle that are holding up the groundhog, wearing the top hat and the black overcoats, those men are witches or warlocks or wizards, right? Top witches. It says neo-pagan or pagan-influenced religions, Imbolc is just one of several pre-Christian holidays highlighting some aspects of winter and sunlight and heralding the change of seasons, right? Which goes into the worship of their different gods, whether it be the horn god, because remember, this lesson is about what? This lesson is really about astrology. But because everything interconnects, that's why we're able to go into so many different tunnels, right? So we can go down different different avenues and say, oh, this connects, oh, that connects. Yeah, because everything interconnects, especially when you're dealing with the left hand side, because it comes from somewhere. It has an origin. And the origin usually goes back to the worship of Cush, Nimrod, or Semiramis. It says origin of Imbolc. The celebration of Imbolc dates back to the pre-Christian era in the British Isles. The earliest mention of Imbolc in Irish literature were found in the 10th century, right, when our people were ruling Ireland, right, so-called Black Irish. Poetry from that time relates the holiday to ewe's milk with the implication of purification, because that's what the month February actually means. It's a Latin word, February. So I can't pronounce it, but it's a Latin word meaning purification, right? Literally, February 14th was known as Purification Day, which on the witches' wheel of the year, which is 12 days after Imbolc, you have Lupercalia. And in Lupercalia, that is the celebration of Pan, or Lupercus. His name was Lupercus. I think it's pronounced Lupercus. But Lupercus is just the Roman version of the Greek Pan. And we all know who Pan is, or brothers should know who Pan is, right? Pan going to pansexuality, Pan going into a god that would have relationships with little boys, right? A god that practiced pedophilia, okay? Which is where R. Kelly got his name from, the Pied Piper, because Pan played the pan pipes. And the same thing with that guy, Andre 3000. Andre 3000 just came out, I think, with a whole album where he's playing the pan pipes. What is he letting you know? He's letting you know who his God is, man. And before, he used to let you know who his God is by throwing up that V, right? That Star Trek symbol, right? That's for a God as well. So these guys are all Luciferians or Wiccans or warlocks or witches. They're just worshiping their different gods. It reads, it's been speculated that this ritual stems from the breeding cycle of sheep and the beginning of lactation. The holiday was traditionally aligned with the first day of spring and the idea of rebirth, right? Because remember, the sun, the S-O-N, right, who is a representation of the S-U-N, because the sun is coming back because it was winter, right? The sun was just born December 25th, going into different gods like Mithra or Dionysus or Bacchus. These are different gods that were born on the 25th. December 25th has nothing to do with Yahushai. Yahushai was not born on December 25th. And we're not even supposed to celebrate the birth of Yahushai because Hebrew Israelites don't celebrate birthdays. That is an occult practice as well, right? Going into the candles, and even February 2nd, going into Imbolc is going into different lighting of candles, different light festivals. It was Pope Galasius that put an end to Imbolc, and he instituted and sanctioned, not God, right? This was a church sanctioned holiday that he instituted, known as the purification of Blessed Virgin Mary, right? Because remember, February 2nd was a purification day. Well, it's the 14th. I apologize. February 14th, which is Lupercalia, right? Brothers, stick with me. Lupercalia is the purification day. They changed that to the purification of Blessed Virgin Mary, aka the goddess Bridget or the goddess Semiramis, because who they really worshipped was a saint by the name of Saint Bridget, right? And that was 40 days after the birth of Jesus. Well, their Jesus. So I should say, aka Buddha, because Buddha is also born December 25th. You also have Horus, Horus goes back to Egypt. Then you have Krishna, right? Brothers should know Krishna. That's an East Indian god. Then you have Mithra, going back to the Persians, I think. Then you have Dionysus, who is Bacchus, and we know who Bacchus is. Bacchus literally meaning son of Cush. Who's the son of Cush? Nimrod. Nimrod's birthday is also on the 25th, right? And who's Nimrod? Nimrod was worshipped as Baal, right? So when you're hearing about Baal, that's going into Nimrod as well, who demanded child sacrifice and burned babies alive in his statue. His worshippers considered prostitution sacred. That's why they do that, the pole dance, and that pole is a representation of his penis. This is all paganism, brothers. Then you have a god by the name of Attis, who was born of a virgin and rose 3 days, and rose up 3 days when he was quote unquote dead in a grave. Does that sound familiar? Right? These people are all trying to take the future prophecy of Yahushai to make it seem like it was them, going all the way back to Ham. Right? Going all the way back to Ham, because Ham was a perverter of the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that his father Noah gave to them. Ham completely perverted the doctrine. The one who kept that doctrine pure was Shem. Right? That pure doctrine went through Shem. Now it reads, Imbolc celebrations took the form of a festival in honor of the pagan goddess Bridget, who was evoked in fertility blessings and oversaw poetry, crafts, and prophecy. Because really and truly, these celebrations or these rituals are trying to foresee future events. Because Imbolc, aka Groundhog's Day, they're trying to see if there's going to be an early summer or an extended winter for the next 6 weeks, right? And brothers, as soon as brothers hear the number 6, your ear should be spiking, because these people use numbers in their occult rituals, man. Right? The Most High does whatever he wants to do. Like, obviously, the scriptures lets us know that, hey, when you see the leaves falling off the trees, then hey, we know that fall is coming. right? When we start to see the grass growing back and we see the leaves turning green and we start to see rain, then we know spring is on its way. There are certain things that we can know, right? But trying to foreshadow certain things or forecast certain things, that's complete demonic, man. Even when they go into their groundhog, that groundhog that they worship only has a 39% success rate in predicting, quote unquote, which means that that groundhog ain't predicting shit. It ain't predicting shit. The only thing that's making future prophecies that have all come to pass, and if they haven't come to pass, they are coming to pass and will come to pass, is the scriptures, which the scriptures is just a representation of the word of Yahweh. That's all that the scriptures is a representation of. The Bible is a representation of the word of Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's all that it is, right? We don't worship the Bible. We worship the Father. It was the Father that inspired these amazing men, right? To write, or sometimes he put visions into these men, and these men saw things that they had to write down because these things were going to come to pass. And they have come to pass, right? Just like you people being exposed, because we never used to know all this knowledge. We never used to have this knowledge of the occult. And now the Most High is opening up our minds to see all the witchcraft that goes on in this world, even on simple, quote unquote, holidays that people worship so much. Something as simple as Valentine's Day. We never knew Valentine's Day was a whole friggin' demonic ritual that goes back to sex orgies and all manners of wickedness, man, because they made it seem so cute in school. Oh, look, oh, it's so cute. Oh, buy your crush. Oh, she's your crush. Buy her a gift card. And all this dumb shit. Oh, Cupid is going to shoot you. Cupid? Cupid? Cupid is a damn demon, man. It says, where am I? Bridget was worshipped by the Philid, a class of poets and historians among the Celts of ancient Ireland and Britain. Bridget was considered one of the most powerful Celtic gods, the daughter of Dagda, the oldest god in the Celtic pantheon. Okay? Tuthia Dudana. She had two sisters also named Bridget, though it's speculated that those sisters are meant to symbolize different aspects of the same goddess. That is so true. That is so true, because you have a triple goddess, and the triple goddess is just a representation of the old crone, the mother goddess, and the virgin or the young woman. Right? That's all that the triple goddess is. These are all speaking about the same person, which goes back to Semiramis. That's all that it is. You have some instance where she is hypersexual. The goddess could be hypersexual. You have the goddess that could be loving and caring, like a mother. She's a mother figure. Then you have the aspect of the goddess where she's a warrior goddess, like the goddess Kali, right? Who's a warrior goddess. It says Bridget appears in the saga Kath Magi Turid and the Libor Gabala Erin and purported history of Ireland collected from various poems and texts in the 10th century. Myths about Bridget's birth say she was born with a flame in her head and drank the milk of the mystical cow from the spirit world, right? And that's why we have something known as when you go to school, you have the Almater, right? Which is all nourishing mother, which is a representation of a cow, right? When you see that cow goddess, that cow goddess, her name is Hathor. When you go to Egypt, her name is Hathor, right? The milk is just a representation of knowledge, right? That's also in the scriptures as well. This is just a pagan way of viewing it. Let's see if there's any more. Right. Now let's look at the different astrological signs. You have the Aries, which is a representation of the ram or the goat, which today is known as Baphomet. Then you have the Taurus, right, which is the same thing, the ram god, right, that bull. You have Pisces. Pisces is a representation of the fish, which goes back to the fish god Dagon, right? That's the mitri or the headdress that the Pope wears. See, I didn't even need to say it. I just searched it up and it came up itself. It says the Pope's hat is similar to the pagan god Dagon from Babylon. The fish is related to Pisces constellation. Okay, so this is what people are worshiping, talking about. Oh, I'm a Pisces. I'm a this. I'm a that. These are all different gods, man. And when I say gods, small g, they are not gods. Now this is First Samuel chapter 5 and 1. I'm going to skip through this. It's pretty fast, so try to keep up. And the Philistines took the ark of Yahweh and brought it from Ebenezer onto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of Yahweh, they brought it into the house of Dagon, right? We just saw a picture of Dagon, which is a fish god, right? And the reason why Dagon is venerated or celebrated, because when you go into the story of Osiris, when he was cut up into pieces and threw into the water, they said that it was a fish that ate his penis, something like that. Brothers could correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes I don't remember. I read so much going into the different ancient gods and stuff like that. I can't remember what Dagon ate. I think Dagon ate the penis. I can't remember, because when they found his body, they put his body together. The only piece of his body they couldn't find was his phallus, which was his penis, and I think they said that a fish ate it. Right, so they worship that fish, and set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him in his place again. And when they arose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Therefore, neither the priests of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod unto this day. Right? But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod. He destroyed them and smote them with emeroids and Ashdod and the coast thereof. Right? So that was judgment upon that idol god. And they're still worshiping that idol god today, talking about, oh, I'm a Pisces. No, that's foolishness, man. That's witchcraft. You have here Capricorn. No, sorry, where's Capricorn? Yeah, Capricorn. That's another horned beast. You have Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius with the bow representing a hunter, which going back to Nimrod. Like I said earlier, Virgo, aka the Virgin. You have Leo, or the Lion King. The Lion King going back to Going back to ancient Babylon, which really that would be Nimrod as well, right? Because who first ruled over, right, at that time of the Tower of Babel? That was that mighty hunter, aka Sagittarius. Who was that mighty hunter? Who was the Lion King? That was Nimrod as well. Okay. Then you have Scorpio. Scorpio also goes back to the ancient Babylonians as well. Yeah, that's Scorpio. I think even in a movie with The Rock, you have that Scorpion King. So back in Jeremiah 10:2, thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the custom of the people are vain, right? And one of those customs, which I used to take part in, right, before the truth, was astrology. And that's a pagan practice, right? It reads, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. And what is that? That's also going back into a pagan festival as well, which is on the December 25th, where they cut down the evergreen tree, right? Which the evergreen tree is a phallus as well. It's a penis of Nimrod, right? Or a penis of any one of those gods that you people worship on December 25th. Going back to Buddha, going back to Horus, going back to Krishna, going back to Mithra, going back to Dionysus, going back to Bacchus, going back to Attis, right? Which is all truly a representation of Nimrod or even Tammuz. Verse 4, they deck it with silver, right? And that silver, when you put that silver is a representation of the semen. Right? This is a ritual. That's why they put the angel on top of the tree, right? And that's a sex ritual going on. That is a sex ritual right there. That's literally a sex ritual. And when you bend down to pick up your gifts, you're also performing a sex ritual, right? To that penis. Because you're bowing down to that penis. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19, and it reads, and lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, right? This is astrology. Even all the host of heaven, shouldest thou be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy power hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. So that's not something we're supposed to do, brothers. Right? We're not supposed to be worshiping these different things. Right? And like I was saying, going back to the different rituals of this world, which goes back to their Wiccan calendar or their wheel of the year, the witch's wheel of the year. That's all that these people are doing. They're worshiping the different winter solstice, summer solstice, spring equinox, right? They're giving the glory onto the creation and not giving the glory onto the creator. And that's another reason why this sinful kingdom will be destroyed. No doubt about it. And with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that rule well and that teach well, and to the brothers on the four corners of the earth that are doing this work in truth and in sincerity, and to the few sisters listening and being humble. Shalom to you as well. All right, until next time, Kwam Yasharala.